Welcome back to another episode of Jeepin' with Cool Guy. On today's episode of Jeepin' with Cool Guy, I have found a original factory hardtop that has that original factory texture on it. And I've got it all painted, ready to go, but I had to strip off the paint and repair the liftgate. So how do you replicate or get as close as you can to the texture of these original hardtops? That's what we're going to go through today. I apologize because I've got this thing underneath my deck, so the lighting's terrible. But anyways, you can see the texture that's on here. It's this really cool kind of spackling effect. And I want to get as close as I can to replicating that. And there's various ways of doing it, but this is the way that I just discovered, so I thought I'd share it with you. Again, jumped ahead a little bit, apologize. Stripped this thing down, and I've already made the repairs that I needed to on it, and then I coated it with some self-etching primer. Now the difficulty is finding something that you can apply to the surface and be able to get it in a kind of splatter type effect. And there's not a lot of things out there that I know of that are really easy to do. And this isn't all that easy, but it takes a little bit of technique refinement. What we're going to start with is custom coat sprayable bed liner, sprayable truck bed liner. I'm not endorsing this. This is just what I've found is going to work for my purposes. And what you need to do is practice a little bit on sheet of metal or something, but you're going to hold it back about 2 feet, 18 inches, and you just lightly tap it. You don't want a full you don't want this. You want something that's like where it's kind of spitting out there. And then you'll notice that once you get to a good point, you'll kind of get it to where it's just spitting out a little bit, just like that. So if you just spray it on and hold the can in one place, you're going to get this kind of bubbly, really over-coated type of effect. This doesn't look anything like the factory finish. This right here is if you just do it real quick and do full spray. So you can kind of see how it goes on fairly thick. And this is very typical of all the other bed liners that I've tried. And then if you work at it and practice at it, then you can kind of get this speckle, kind of this splatter effect that you can see all the way through here. So once you get to the point where you can do this on a regular basis and you've gotten pretty good at it, then you can spray your frame and you're going to get this type of finish for the texturization of your hatch. Okay, so back to the task at hand. So you just want to go around the frame and just lightly spackle it on there and move around it fairly quick. You don't want to create like an overall pattern, and go from all different angles. Your finger will get really sore, mine does. So once you've got the outside coated, now you want to do the inside, and that really is just along the ridge. It really isn't applied to the outside edge because that's where the seal is. And also the way that they did it in the factory, they just went at it from this kind of an angle, so they weren't coming down into these kind of outer facing lines. You also want to make sure that you get it along the bottom rail of the frame. So once you get to this point where you have this nice speckle tone, it basically looks like a Jackson Pollock painting, then you will let this dry for however long, a couple hours give or take, and then you can top coat it, and you're going to get the perfect effect on this. So I'm really excited to see what this looks like once I get the paint on it. Alright, now that I've got this pattern the way that I want it, and this is dried, take a scrub brush, hard bristled brush, and lightly brush off the kind of the dusted paint. So when you're spraying it from a long way away, you're going to get a lot of kind of overspray type paint that isn't going to add anything to your finish. And this is a easy way to kind of get rid of it so you don't paint over the top of this dust, and then that peels off afterwards. For the Golden Eagle, I've tried to find the correct color code paint. The only reference that I had was the inner line of my hardtop, where the previous owner hadn't sanded down the texture and then painted over the entire thing with this kind of metallic silver. So through a fair amount of research, I found this Krylon Color Max, and it's a satin brown boots, and I've tried various other colors. This one is almost perfect in correlation to, or in relation to, the original OEM kind of brown tannish color for the Golden Eagle. The hardtops only came in a few different colors, black, white, I think it was this tan, maybe a light tan. But if you are going to do your hardtop with spray can or whatever color you're going to put it on, if you want to be close to the factory finish, you're going to want to go with either a satin or a matte finish, because anything other than that, if you go flat, then that's going to show up every scuff, and they were never done in gloss, so or semi-gloss. So you're going to want to go with either a satin or a matte finish. Well, we got the whole top painted, got the frame painted, got it texturized, and I've installed it just to make sure I can get everything aligned, and we are good to go. Let me show you a close-up of how this came out. This is a really good area. It's very indicative of how the rest of the frame looks like, but obviously it's not perfect. I don't think you're going to be able to get it perfect, but it is really close. I don't think anybody, including myself, is really going to be able to discern between this finish and this finish. Go us. But the most important thing to take away from this video is to like and subscribe. Why? Because it just makes me feel better about myself.